Here we are. We're back.
ManCon number
Man,
6.
ManCon 6, defying the typical conventions of the DEF CON chart, going even further beyond, right? It
That's
doesn't go
right.
up to 6, right?
No, but
Okay.
I mean, DEF
Yeah.
CON doesn't.
Yeah, but we do.
ManCon
We're
does.
better than the United States military.
Not
Wow.
hard.
Yeah, not hard. Not a high bar to clear, I think.
Yeah, but
We
we
did it.
did it, and it should be recognized.
Should be recognized. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a fun, crazy week.
Well, I think about clearing bars. One thing.
Yeah.
100,000
Yes.
uncommitted.
Yes. Crazy. We said we talked about today. Yeah. Over 100,000 people in Michigan.
That's right.
Don't worry, though. I'm told that is just a small percentage of actual voters and doesn't matter to the Biden electoral campaign.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You
Well,
had everybody from, obviously the Aaron Rupars of the bunch, all the way up to senators like Chris Murphy saying, I think Chris Murphy was very mask off about it, saying Joe Biden shouldn't let the electorate decide on what his policy making is. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, what are you doing here then, man?
all right. Hey,
What's the
dictator just for a day, huh?
Yeah, Trump's going to be a dictator, but also Biden doesn't have to do anything that the voters want actually and can do whatever he likes. No, I understand what's different about that. That makes sense.
I mean, and this is where in a lot of ways, they are discrediting the democracy itself, right?
Hey, just vote. Except in this instance, don't just vote in this time because that helps Trump.
Yeah, it's
don't vote in a primary.
And because the thing is, though, it's like you write or you write a letter to your Congress, or you email, you call, you text, people protest, join organizations, get your local you have cities calling for ceasefire, all these different things, right? And it's just like, what, if all of these things, it's obvious what the call to action for the president, for the administration is.
Yeah.
And if you just say we don't care what you think, you're kind of you're undercutting the whole point, which some could argue they've been doing that for a very long time, but it's just so obvious at this point, it's just so in your face. And that's what it is. It is very just sickening, the amount of the liberal influencer class that will just come, well, Trump's gonna be worse. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's February, dude.
That's exactly it. I had somebody yesterday going off on that. Well, what are you gonna do between Biden and Trump? I'm like, brother, it is February. It is March 4th.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're saying right now. What are you gonna do? Get out there and go to a protest. Get out there and commit to some help some people in your community. Go feed some of the MENA folks in your city. Go do some things for people. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Find ways that you can engage with people that are being affected by this Islamophobia in your fucking place of habitation.
And then the thing is too is where
that's right, Carl. Yeah.
Carl knows.
Yeah.
But there's just, especially too, and when it regards to Biden, and when regards to the campaign, the only way that I see this is you have to, and this is something that's been voiced by, what is it? The Listen to Michigan, and this uncommitted vote push was just, if you do not stop supporting the genocide, then you are yourself, right? You are turning away voters.
Mhm.
You're turning away canvassers, right? And volunteers, right? You're
Yeah.
turning away. I mean,
This is what I said last week. These are high velocity voters. This isn't a regular, like, this isn't a general election. This is a primary. People that
yeah,
come out for primaries historically are very active voters,
yeah.
very involved voters.
Informed
That is, yes,
voters.
very informed voter. This is your core. And to sit down and say to 100,000 of them, like, hey, well, stay the course, do whatever we want, is, I don't know. It's kind of insulting to see, like, so many people from the Democratic establishment just kinda sanitizing this idea, washing it away.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't
And,
know.
and this is where, like, it's there's no, like, way to, like, do, like, kinda apples to apples comparison as, like, what a US foreign policy that's so unpopular in the United States, but not, I guess, so heinous in its actual, like, results, in some other country or whatever.
Hmm.
But that the other idea that you're just gonna stick, or at least, Biden admin is gonna stick to their guns over one issue that is absolutely, insanely unpopular, right?
Yeah. But it's popular to him, you
And
know?
that, like, and that's where it's like you gotta get out of 1968, my man,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's using a lot of the rhetoric that he's been using since the 80s around this, Like, they got a right to defend themselves if there was no Israel, etc. Like, he just keeps repeating these things, and it's like, you're not a junior senator anymore, man. You're the
Yeah,
president now, and there's extreme consequences for, kind of aiding and abetting a genocide, at least in the minds of the voters. Like, that's something that they don't, particularly care for, you know? And with
and
each passing week, we see more and more just outright inhumane treatment of these folks, and your solution is just like, well, I mean, your solution is the most pathetic thing I've seen, which is just like, well, we're gonna airdrop food to them, like, and bypass our client's day? Like,
yeah,
our
yeah.
solution is to airdrop food to them because we can't do anything about the state that we give billions of dollars a year.
We're gonna pay pilots to
Yeah.
fly over the rave
Yes.
that
A very
is
a very
blocking,
expensive choice. Food
right?
dropping food is one of the most expensive aid
Yeah,
choices.
yeah, we're just gonna fly right over the
Mhm.
little rave that they got going, blocking the food trucks, right?
Yes.
Fly over the 3 to 18 fences, right? Then to drop aid with the country that we supply the most military aid to.
Yes.
That's
Like, I want him to make that make sense, man. Like, we have gone through some pretty cucked scenarios in the past, including, like, the USS Liberty, but this is another level of just, "Hey, yeah, do whatever you guys want." Like, oh, at what point are they a rogue state?
yeah,
When, like, we could
yeah.
just, "Hey, yeah, whatever you guys need, okay? You guys can keep beating up on him. It's fine. We'll just drop food in other ways, I guess."
Crazy shit.
Like,
But, well, before we go to that,
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah,
onto
yeah,
the
yeah.
staying on the uncommitted vote.
Yeah, let's talk Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday,
I voted
yeah.
today. Oh, no, I forgot my sticker, but I voted.
Oh, no,
Here
yeah,
we
yeah.
go. Hold up, baby.
Yeah, yeah, which
Bam. Wow.
look at you.
My vote counted, it
Yeah,
says.
that's
Wow.
right. That's right. Well, and, I gotta say, it
Mhm.
kinda creeped up on me. I didn't,
Yeah, I
think
didn't
about it.
I didn't register it was Super Tuesday this morning. I
It
just, like, did my whole thing, and then, like, halfway through the day, I was like, "Oh, yeah.
well, for
That's
me,
right."
like, I never thought I'd vote for Marianne Williamson. I never thought that was gonna
Yeah.
be a thing, but here we are.
Here we are. Well, it's either that or, like, I found out after, you can just slide the blank in, and it'll count as a blank vote, which,
Yeah, but that doesn't
some.
get reported, th like,
No,
that's the thing, yeah,
exactly,
like,
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
issue is it's something that gets reported on.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what is it? 15 states go on today, Super Tuesday.
Yeah.
The ones to look out for, let me get my notes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um Minnesota and Massachusetts are the big ones, but,
Yeah.
Alabama, Colorado, Iowa, and North Carolina and Tennessee all have the ability to do uncommitted, so,
Yeah.
I guess, like, that we'll see, but, for sure, I think Minnesota will probably, for, a various, demographic reasons will probably be the largest uncommitted vote,
Yes.
um, but and that's where I think, like, what's interesting, like, in Michigan, there are 2 delegates. There are 2 uncommitted delegates, and I it's
Yeah.
and I think this, like, actually does have, this does carry weight into the convention, right? And, like, they're not gonna be able to say Joe Biden's not gonna be president, but it does get people in the room who are, I'm gonna probably be able to, like, speak truth to power and at the very least be insanely annoying to some of these DNC staff.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interested for what results we get this evening.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it next week. I don't know, man. On this side of things, at least when we're talking about like the Dem side of things, we're really looking to count uncommitted votes. On the Republican side of things, man, I mean, how can you not think that this day is going to turn in Nikki's favor after
Yeah.
she picked up at least a couple dozen frat bros in Georgetown,
Yeah.
in
No,
DC over the weekend? You know,
that's right.
she
Nikki
got
Haley's got that momentum, baby.
she picked up every dude that calls themselves a Reagan Democrat on Tinder. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's something to think about. You know, she's got a fire behind her now.
Yeah.
I saw her in the targeted ads on Twitter today. So I guess her campaign still has ad spend.
And that's where it's like I've gotten Nikki Haley texts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but, yeah, in which, like, it's hilarious, the DC Republican primary, I guess, was held in a hotel, one single hotel in DC
Amazing.
for 3 days, and people could
Yeah,
just come by and vote,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think she got, like, what, like, 2,000
No, she
votes?
didn't get that many, but she got like 1,600 or something. I don't have the official, but I remember
Yeah.
glancing at it when it was like 99% in, and it was somewhere around 15,
Oh,
1,600.
yeah. Well, so to say, it's just a fire not quite the firebrand that she'd probably like to be,
Yeah, well,
but
it's
and this is
little by little,
this is the thing,
It
though, is
1279. She got
oh, man.
1,279.
Alright, yeah, yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
those
that's
first 2
that's
numbers
something,
flipped,
man.
yeah. Um, but, I think part of the issue well, and I think what, some that we've talked about, in,
Mhm.
previous episodes of the campaign for the next campaign.
Yeah,
But, I think and honestly too, it kind of be a similar position as, like, the uncommitted
yeah,
of getting delegates that are kind of like, these, campaign bureaucratic placeholders essentially for
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual, convention where they actually get chosen. And where yeah, hopefully, I think where she's hoping is that, I think, like, she's really hoping now that the Supreme Court's kinda helped out Trump,
yeah, yeah,
is that, something, you know, a whopper's gotta get stuck in the wrong spot, for
yeah.
Nikki to have any chance now, because
Or, convention coup, baby, Everybody just decides it's
oh,
Nikki
yeah.
Haley time,
Yeah,
and it'll be
no.
great.
Where yeah, I'm sure because I've seen the stranglehold on the Republican Party. It's slipping. Sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Real soon,
Yeah.
anytime,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I read that Biden New Yorker piece. He said there's
Oh,
basically none of them left. They want to return to normalcy. They want to go back to the good old days.
exactly. The soul of the nation almost healed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Real
it's
close.
and again, yeah, sure, maybe a placeholder for 2028. I just don't know. I think she's leveraging that in another 4 years, the party will kind of like the Tea Party, they'll move away from this ideation of a more radical Republican Party. And I think that gamble's probably I think the second some white guy does the Ramaswamy stick,
Oh yeah.
I think she's toast, you know?
Where
Honestly, again, I think if DeSantis had done a better Trump shtick and not been just kind of a very weak, politically minded candidate overall,
I mean, that's
I
where it's
think,
like DeSantis is just a freak, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
He's just a weirdo.
yeah. But if they get
And
like
the
another demagogue like Trump, one that's actually appealing, I don't know.
yeah, where and like that's kind of it's like finding that line
Yeah,
of, you know, bigotry and Riz.
yeah,
It's because it's hard to be a likable asshole,
yeah,
and that's like where the thing where it's just like recognizing that like Trump is pretty funny,
yeah,
recognizing that Trump he knows how to feel out a crowd,
yeah.
you know? Those like, yeah, those, it's like things are, like, kinda, not I don't know, can't necessarily be taught in a way or, like, by the time, like, you got
Sure.
to some of these politicians, like, you can't if you're not consistently that, you can't be consistently that,
Uh,
and
yeah,
yeah,
they're
like,
like,
there's, like, Marco Rubio, like, Ted Cruz, like, I'm starting to think of,
mhm,
like, that, like, that lower v or, like, the under like, that next generation kind of, like, nationally known Republicans.
yeah,
They're nerds, they're dweebs,
yeah.
like, no one likes them,
And again,
actually,
like when you
right? They
talk to that
start
Riz
talking.
aspect, like they're very uncomfortable with these crowds, because they're
Yes.
not like them.
Yeah.
These
Because and it's
people are
not
like cretins to them. And for
yeah.
Trump, that's kind of true, but in the sense, like he also knows, like he wants their attention.
Well, the
He
thing with
craves that
Trump,
from
right,
them, you
is that
know?
with Trump, and I think this might be the only difference,
Yeah.
is Trump loves people who love him.
That's it. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like,
yeah. He talks about it all the time.
it's like
He was
because
talking
if
this
you're
weekend about
poor, like yeah, yeah, if you're
uh,
poor, fuck you, but if you're poor
yeah,
and you love Trump,
yeah.
my front row Joes.
Yeah, he was talking about Malay this weekend in Argentina. He's just like
Oh,
loves me so. He's doing it different. He's doing it in Argentina, Maga. I let him have it. You
yeah, I
know.
let him have it, yeah. Make Argentina great again.
Yeah,
I let him
little
have it.
different down there, but still nice.
Yeah. They're
And
gonna build a
yeah,
wall on
like if
other
you
side.
profess like support of him, that's it. That's all he needs, man.
Yeah. And that's like the where he like the disdain that most, I think a lot of politicians, but especially on the Republican side, yeah, like where Trump overcomes that is that he generally likes people. He genuinely likes people who like him.
Yeah,
So the fact that there are, those crowds coming out because the thing is too is that like they're buying his hats, like they're funding
yeah.
his lawyer fees and all that type of stuff and um yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know if we should just go to the SCOTUS stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can talk about that whilst yeah, we're thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, just 'cause, they're sticking on the Trump train. Um,
Man, we're talking about crushing, moments for like liberal influencers specifically. Man, they
they're
could
so
not.
shocked.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me. Like anybody would have told you this is what the Supreme Court was going to do, but to hear them tell it, this was like the line. Like this was the scissor that finally clipped the wings of the Democratic project. Like,
Yeah,
brother, this was
yeah,
always gonna happen.
yeah.
I think they haven't separated out in their minds. They're idealized to them, the Supreme Court is RBG. All right? The person
Yeah,
is not RBG, the Supreme Court justice, or any of these other Supreme Court justices. It is just that, that notorious RBG, all that iconography, all that
yeah,
aesthetic. It is that. And they don't realize that these people are fucking self-obsessed law nerds. They're law nerds, and they favor systems and they favor procedure.
Yeah, which
and they were never going to overturn,
no.
something like Colorado in the Supreme Court, and that's why they said, "Hey, Congress, you figure it out."
Yeah, which and it's got like so 2 things because you've got the denial of Colorado and
Yeah,
other states
yeah,
to restrict based off of insurrection or 14th
yeah,
Amendment insurrection,
yeah,
and then you've got them taking on our president's able to be immune to everything,
yeah, yeah,
which extends well, at least seemingly might push back the trial, and so it's
yeah.
just like everything like literally, which like who's this guy? Ludwig. The
Uh-huh,
like the he's like the conservative, so he was like I don't know if he was a clerk, a federal judge. Either
uh-huh.
way, they get him on all the shows now.
Yeah,
And he was one of the ones saying, "No, states can do this. This is fine. It's within the Constitution."
nice.
And when the Supreme Court, he was shook. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
sure.
Like
I can't
just
believe they would do
shook.
this. Again, I
But
just, and I said this yesterday too, I just, like, these people don't care about, you have a fundamentally different idea of the urgency of this presidency than Supreme Court justices do. They will exist past countless administrations, okay? They don't have the urgency that you do. They are working law on a different level.
the
So if you
George
think this
Bush,
is the
like,
worst president
yeah.
ever and they've got to do something about it, it's just but a drop of sand in the time that they will be a Supreme Court justice,
Yes.
okay?
And, and
Like
that's yeah.
realistically,
And
it's
that's
like
where, like,
telling,
the people who plucked George Bush,
yeah,
right? And said, "No, he's the guy."
yeah,
Like, they don't get like you said, like, they don't care, and, like, the thing is
yes,
too, it's like they know they can pal around with this
yeah,
because some of the decision, and, like, this is where, oh, hey, I'm no constitutional lawyer, okay?
yeah,
But they made things up,
yeah,
okay? They just made things up. Part of
yeah,
the argument is if we allow Colorado and other states to do this, it may cause more work for us. There's
yeah,
gonna be all sorts of lawsuits for all sorts of shit. Well, it's like, okay, then do
yeah,
your job. Because
yeah,
that's the thing is that, like, literally, when it comes to the Constitution, when it comes to law in general, if there is nothing saying that you can or can't do it, and this is a
yeah,
novel thing, guess what? You kinda just like, you gotta make a law in order to act, there's gotta be some type of precedent, there's gotta be something there.
yeah, but
When it
they
comes to the
want
14th
they want a
Amendment
cushy,
in
easy,
yeah.
lobbyist-filled job, man. Like,
But, like, when it comes to the 14th Amendment, when it comes to insurrection, well, and so it's like, what are the things that you could deny being president? 35 years old,
yeah,
uh, not born in the US, which, what I'm saying, Jake Uger, I think his
we can
legal
work on it.
analysis of it,
Yeah,
I think
he's on to something,
I think it's pretty cut and dry, and he should be able
Yeah,
to, but so
yeah,
those are the 2 things. Those are self, instituting, or, what I'm saying, or like, so each state is on their voting systems
mhm,
to say, "Hey, are you 35 years old? Were you born here?"
yeah,
But they're saying now, well, the insurrection, that's something different. That's not on the states.
yeah,
But the Constitution doesn't say that. The Constitution only says it's on Congress to take off, right? If somebody is an
yeah,
insurrectionist, it's only Congress is the ones that can allow that person to run
yeah,
again if they are an insurrectionist. It says nothing about how you go about deciding who is an insurrectionist or why, because I mean, the Constitution is not a great way of a structure of government.
no,
It's very confusing. It
this is
kind of
just ways
sucks.
to interpret law, but not, here's the thing, at the end of the day, here's what realistically matters, like, you gotta go back 3 years and some change, and on January 7th, you gotta tell all these senators they have to impeach him immediately. And that's the only reason any or way that any of this could have happened. All right? Like, because they were fucking scared. These people
Yeah,
were terrified.
yeah.
Even the Republicans. did not know what was going on. They didn't know how the people were going to take it. And at that point, if you would have had them say, all right, we're called,
He's
like,
done.
if somebody in the Senate had the balls, Chuck Schumer, anybody stepped up and said, we are going to start holding votes on impeachment right now
Yeah.
over insurrection, I think he would have had an okay chance of making that happen. And maybe
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell would have lobbied against it. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered at all, but you would have had a shot.
Yeah. Because,
Like,
and
all
that's
of
the thing is, like,
this, like trying to get Colorado to float through the Supreme Court and all these things, these are not like democratic bodies, all right? They don't care.
I mean, and Merrick Garland waiting like 2.5 years to even
God.
like
Yeah.
do anything. Nice.
Man, yeah,
Nice.
Merrick Garland again, like just one of the worst guys. He was a compromise pick for Obama, and for good reason, because he's just useless. And then Biden's like, well, I don't know, I'll give him a shot. Just nothing. Just
Stupid.
this guy's nothing.
Well, and like it's like because like the DN or at least like the Democrats, I think is like well, they took him as a Supreme Court, but now we got him now, and it's like, how's that working out for you? How is that
Well, again,
actually working out
it's
for you?
this politics first as aesthetic like notion of the Democratic Party. Like, so while we're talking about SCOTUS, Josh Barro was talking the start of this week about the fact that the Democrats in a sane world where they were working on holding on to power should probably have a discussion about the Supreme Court and how Sotomayor should probably be on her way out. She's 70. She's regularly followed around by a medic because of her diabetes. Like, it's probably a talk that you need to have.
Why do you hate women?
And that's the
Why do you
thing.
hate women?
The Biden
No,
administration
answer.
responds and says,
I don't know if we can
"Hey,
continue this
listen,
podcast if
yeah,
you don't
listen.
explain to me why
This
you
is a
hate women.
strong Latina woman, and you would ask her to step down? Like, that's it. It's just politics as aesthetic and nothing else. Like, you could find another justice, all right? You could find somebody else to take her place, somebody younger, somebody able to make it through a potential Republican administration. But again, we see this 2016, man, a lot of echoes of 2016.
Oh,
We see
so
this
much.
2016 brashness of there's no way they could win. We already beat them,
Yeah.
We already took care of that.
And people don't die as well.
People don't die notoriously, so nothing could happen to her.
Nothing
Like,
bad. Yeah. No, and
man, I think about I just like I wonder, like, part of me always like opines on the Democrats not having the best political instincts, but I think it's because they don't care to have them. This is, the easier explanation here is the
yeah.
Democrats are a very fundraise heavy, happy party. Like, we see that in New York, right? New York is amazingly corrupt with a lot of these moderate Dems that are outright serving Republicans in their state. And that is the center of democratic politic in the United States.
Yeah.
Like, they are none happier than just sitting down and taking what's given. And if they're also able to assume power, that could work, in various ways, but it's going to be wrapped around continuing to make the mechanism run, continuing to have machine places like South Carolina and Jim Clyburn, who should not, I'm sorry, but should not have a deciding factor in anything that happens within like the larger democratic politic, but
I mean, it's
does because of the world that he has created down there, the machine politic that he's created in South Carolina that helps the Democratic Party zero.
I mean, it's like I hate Clyburn so much. There's just so many things that flooded in my mind.
I'm
Because
sorry.
no, it's like because and like you're just so correct. And like I always quite like have this question of like why right? Like the
Yeah.
question of like what are you actually getting out of this?
Money.
And that's where like but the thing is, and like I guess too where it's like my frustration is like I feel like you could get money and not be such openly jackasses, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there is, like, a way to not be, so openly, like, bland evil, you know? And, like, but because yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, like, Biden and the way that he plays politics is still in the, "Hey, shake hands. This is my, like, legitimate these are my political relationships," and then he get kickbacks, and that's why, South Carolina ended up being the first state for primaries is because this was the presidential kickback, which because
Yeah.
like, the amount of money, and especially not this one, not
Mhm.
this go round, but for the next primary season, being the first state,
Yes.
like, that's gonna be a huge amount, like, of cash flooded into South Carolina for all these little Democratic,
Absolutely.
gremlins and stuff like that. But either way,
Yeah. I listen, I see it in your face while we're talking about, we're talking about good governance. You want to talk about how we've lost someone, you know?
yeah,
We've
yeah,
lost a strong Democratic fighter today, hot off the presses.
yeah. Breaking news,
I can't
okay?
believe it, but she's gone. She was
She's
just a kid, man.
and that's the
Who's
thing
gonna
is, like,
wear those Lululemon dresses now?
I was just getting over the loss of the last epic senator from Arizona.
Yeah, yeah.
Just,
Now what do I do?
we lost McCain so
Yeah,
soon,
yeah.
so untimely, and now Sinema is stepping down.
Baby. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
I
told
really
you
don't.
I saw the best tweet earlier today. Majority Report retweeted it that just said Democrats have a chance to pick up a Democratic seat this November. That's pretty good. That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
and that's where, like, it is somewhat funny, and I have to question whether she realizes this at all.
Yeah,
But the Senate seat, right?
yeah.
The statewide Senate seat for Arizona
Hmm.
is shifting towards the politics of where she started,
Yeah, yeah. I
right?
think here's the thing. Speaking of her politics specifically, and just this ideation between her and Manchin both, that politics are actually more in the center than a lot of people believe they are, with no labels and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The American people actually aren't that, progressive, et cetera, et cetera. Then why did both of you goddamn losers step down in the election year because you both knew that you were going to lose your seat? Why did both of you have to fucking step down this year, huh? If you're so goddamn popular, if that's the regular default position for most voters, is they would just like good governance, what happened? Why were
Well,
neither of you able to make it to the finish line?
you think you're
Obviously
gonna
the
like,
answer is a
oh man.
facade, but
No, so they're both gonna run for president together. She's stepping down.
oh
Mention
God.
Cinema. Let's go.
Whoa, let's go, folks. Yeah.
Romney could be. What do you think, Romney?
Romney
Secretary of State,
sits in the treasurer chair, yeah, in Washington.
Treasury. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Romney,
I
Treasury.
feel I feel like
Okay.
the treasurer is normally a good
Yeah.
tuck chair, yeah.
No, but like that's where the thing is too. Is that it's like no, yeah. There's just the extremes are just too loud, but most Americans are in the middle. That's why
Yeah.
most of the centrists that have dominated politics are, Mitch and like that's where too is like
Yeah.
Mitch is one press conference away from locking up and never releasing again. Um,
Yeah.
but he's stepping down from leadership in the Senate.
Yeah.
Um, I'm actually very excited for kind of like the battle for who takes over.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
I think
listen, we've been in the lab working out some scenarios. It's
yeah,
Tuberville, baby.
it's Tuberville.
It's time for
Hey,
Tuberville, baby.
there's
Trust
not
me. Trust me on this one.
they need a good tight defensive formation to combat the zone read. Okay,
That's right.
you're
Folks,
never gonna get
we're
Chuck
gonna get
Schumer
this
off the
bill
end.
signed. We gotta run a 4-3 shotgun formation.
Well, no, because The thing is where it's completely upended, in a way, politics have definitely changed, where Newt Gingrich era in the Republican Party,
Yeah.
they could tell him, they could get him to shut up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Real bloodthirsty fascists. You could, "No, shut up. You can't say that," right?
Yeah.
Then Tea Party comes out, then Trump, and now within MAGA, within they vacated Kevin McCarthy, which,
They
like,
did.
hilarious. You're starting to see it
Maybe
again.
Mike Johnson by the end of the
Mike
year.
Johnson, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen? They're doing these CRs over and over again, but now I think what we're probably gonna see, and like, really it's already happening, where it's that type of minority bloodlust that has worked, right?
Mhm.
Like that is, like, it hasn't worked for the Republicans overall, but it has worked for MTG. It has worked for Matt Gaetz. It has
Yes.
worked for them. Ted Cruz is looking at what MTG and Matt Gaetz was able to do, and it's licking his chops and saying, with Mike Lee and Tuberville, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, why not us over here in the Senate?" So
Yeah.
it might be very interesting as far as, like, what the hell
I
happens,
do
but
I do worry about I know everybody hates him, but I do worry about the potential of like a Cruz majority.
and that's where, like, everybody hates Ted
uh
Cruz, and
yeah, yeah.
it's I don't understand. I don't understand how he's so.
He kissed the ring,
I mean,
he
yeah, yeah.
proved what a good submissive boy he is, and for that he gained the favor from the God King, you know?
I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. One of the
Oh,
funniest things about Ted Cruz is, like, Lindsey Graham saying if you killed Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate that had a hearing, like, you couldn't convict anybody.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, amazing. Just amazing stuff. God, I love how much Boehner just hates Ted Cruz.
Oh, that
I
too. One of
hate
my
Ted
favorites.
Cruz. Go fuck yourself. Oh man. Well, speaking of firebrands, though, while you're talking about like MTG and all of them, maybe I think we're saying a sad goodbye to Bobert tonight. I think
Oh,
she's losing that
yeah,
primary.
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
Well,
it, man.
she's had a rough year.
She's had a tough year. Well, not that tough. You think about it. Beetlejuice 2 comes out this summer.
Something to
She'll
look
have
forward to.
some chance redemption, you know? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy. Like, yeah, she had a real rough year. Her
That's
kids, all that, Fetterman had to defend her.
and the thing is, it's I don't thi it's like, it's really not that hard,
Yeah.
because especially too, it's like once you win a race, you're in, like,
Yeah.
you're
I
largely in,
mean,
especially with, like, the count or, like, her original district that she
uh-huh.
started in. But wanting to be the MAGA Trump firebrand or whatever,
Correct. You want all
you
that
know
attention. You
right? That's where she went wrong because
Yep.
and that's where too, it's like and not even go where it's like, "Oh, hey, like, how intelligent are these people?" But
Mhm.
there are processes within the house,
Yeah.
right? Or, like, within government, and the thing that, like, at least was, like, very funny to see is that even it didn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't find a staffer to help some of them out
Yeah.
because, like, of, like, just messing things up, and then on top of the whole, yeah, Beetlejuice, and then her son is where you know what I'm saying? Like, this is where it's like I get frustrated because,
Yeah.
like, no one's saying, "Oh, where are the parents?" You know what I'm saying? "Oh, what about the
Yeah.
culture?" Right? What is it about white people and green bean casserole that makes their kids act up? You know what I'm saying? Nobody says that, but either way,
That's true. They
um
should. They should. I've been anti cream of mushroom soup activist since the beginning. All right. I don't understand what's wrong with those honkies, if I can say that.
Yeah, no, you're right to say, you're brave to
Yeah.
say it. No,
Yeah.
but, that's, but aside from yeah, because the thing is too, it's like we're like Marjorie Taylor Greene is just largely there, uh, for the spectacle,
But she
showing
also has a
Hunter's vote.
freak constituency that is about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Seriously about
yeah.
that.
But that's where too. It's like Boebert's like constituency wasn't that in Colorado,
Yeah, yeah.
and she tried to find it. It's not going to
You
work
didn't
out
have the
because
true
there's so much
believers.
else. Yeah.
It's Colorado's a more like muted Republican Party, like they're still freaks, but they're like, oh come on, we gotta play nice with
Yeah.
the state Democrats, and also we gotta
I
still
mean, it's
keep
like
these
messed up
suburbs
though, but it's
extremely
just like
white. So
like misogyny. I think is the bottom that dropped out.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because
absolutely,
a mother
absolutely,
a mother having a rampant child causing
yeah,
harm in the community is not something that, what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's
Not
it's not
very
something
trad of you. Not
we
very
can
trad of
abide.
you.
I can't abide that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's it, Yeah, I think it is. I think it's definitely that. But maybe she thinks that she'll leverage this MAGA like fervency after she gets out of office.
I mean, good luck. Like,
Yeah. Maybe she'll write a book.
podcast,
Everybody
YouTube,
does.
yeah.
I don't
Maybe another restaurant?
know. Ooh, now you're talking.
Shooters too.
Well, speaking of shutdown, like the first shooter shut down, right? For something or
Yeah.
other. Yeah,
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 yeah.
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 Good. Okay, good segue then. Speaking of shutdowns, I know you're championing the bit to talk about the government shutdown. It's getting
I
stalled yet again.
It is one of the most ridiculous things.
Yeah, it's crazy
Like
like
this
I'm sorry, this ball has gotten passed so many times the past 6 months.
because the thing is, like, so within context of continuing resolutions,
Yeah,
there's been a full year CR, right?
yeah,
Like, they just basically said, because once you get into March, this is the time normally when they actually start doing the budget for next year.
yeah.
Now, but
That's
we're
what you
there.
think, sucker.
That, yeah, that's how they used to do it. Not
Yeah.
Mike Johnson era, but that's the thing is that
Ah,
now he's split it up. They just keep pushing it a few weeks ahead, a few weeks ahead, a few weeks
yeah,
ahead.
man.
We're almost like we're almost halfway into like the fiscal year,
Yeah.
right? And there is no budget. I think part of the Republicans are saying, "Hey, just let this happen, and there'll be just a government-wide 1% decrease in
Yeah,
funding,"
that's what I was hearing, yeah.
which like, oh my god, that I mean, like that's not, that's a less bad scenario than the government shutdown, but it still would cause, like like a good amount of issues because of the way it's instituted. There's not a lot of choice. It's just like literally like as what they're saying that might happen is just the accounts are just like less. That's what the
Yeah,
Republican wants. It's just like
yeah,
you have now less money, period, in
yeah.
every account, in every department, whatever.
We got
Doesn't
their
matter.
budget cuts, but,
Yeah, exactly.
in
Right.
the most
Like,
craven way possible, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um and then we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
And like this is the thing, it's like it's so I don't know, man. Right? Because I'm this nerd that's like I focus I like to pay attention so much to Congress and like
mhm.
seeing the House, like they can't like this is it's what's like it's hard to explain what's
It's
happening because no one knows what's happening.
Yeah, no, it's just like a wild thing to think about, like, when we talk about crumbling empire and everything, obviously empires take, generations to crumble, but you're just seeing a very quick, like, crack throughout places like the House where they can't even get basic,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to Biden this with like, oh, I pine for the old days of the reasonable Republicans, but at least they've always been obstructionists, but at least they were able to say, well, we're not going to fuck with the money, at least, right?
Oh yeah.
At
Well,
this
because
point, they're like, maybe we'll do that too. I don't care.
no. Yeah, and this is more it's like, no, it's like, oh, yeah, the good old days of when they could actually get stuff done. No,
Yeah.
because I mean, at the end of the day, the stuff they're getting done was, austerity
Yeah.
and
And there
horrible
still
foreign
were
policy.
government shutdowns then too.
But
But
that's yeah, to that, yeah. But like that's to the point though, it's like the way these things are happening. Vacating a speaker, there's been less than like so the last Congress with the Congress with the least amount of bills, they've passed less than half of that amount.
It's crazy.
Um,
Yeah.
and they're just stuck on, like, last year's budget, which they shoulda just done they shoulda just CR'd it straight through and started
Yeah.
on this one. Um, but no, and this is like you said, where it's like it's like, literally, like, the crack in the windshield, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, you got that small crack," and you're like, "Oh, it's, like, inching and inching," but then you got that one day where you're like, "Oh, man, that it grew," right? That it,
Yeah.
like, it grew, boom. This is one of those moments. This is one of
Yeah,
those
it's
moments.
it's it's fascinating to observe. I just, I don't know. I wonder I always wonder how things will be kinda like, reflected upon in the future, and I think, the Kevin McCarthy slash Mike Johnson era is just gonna be a complete enigma when trying to understand what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Where and this
this is not just them saying, "We're doing this because the American people don't deserve X or Y." They're just doing it to, upset the order in a way that's very, very difficult to perceive, what their desired outcome is, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and that's like, yeah, we need to get, like, a few years out, but, like, I think when you look at, like, the post-Reagan Republican,
Yeah,
right? Like, and from, Newt, Boehner, Ryan, McCarthy, Johnson, and like that,
yeah.
you know, please, Jared Horn, please just write a book on this that I could read later and have some type of understanding,
Yeah,
because you know what I'm saying? Like, because and like as you see, with the shifts of what the political right wing through American history,
yes.
from slaveholders to now. That's a good title.
Yeah, write
But
that down.
that
Changing the title of the episode.
yeah, like this is a moment in flux,
Yeah,
right? To where we don't know where this is going to end up, but things are changing for the worse.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Although
yeah.
things might have a chance to get better
That's right. Yeah,
for
yeah.
6 weeks.
For 6 whole weeks, buddy. Think about that, okay? You're
Yeah.
so greedy with your permanent ceasefire, Marcus. You don't understand. There's a way that we have to do these things. Man, the way that she even delivered it was so comedic to me. She's
So
like, "We need a ceasefire." Pause. For 6 weeks. I'm like,
which
"What are you doing?" Man.
I'm saying it now, and I don't know how this is actually how this is gonna work out, but
Yeah,
we gotta get the audio clip for the podcast because it is
yeah.
absurd, okay?
It's so crazy to listen to.
Because
I
the
was
and
losing my mind.
well, and the thing that is all and this is, like, part of even going back into, like, the uncommitted votes and stuff like that, of, like, what is being asked, what's needed, right? And
Yeah,
what's being asked? Permanent ceasefire,
yeah.
and the idea I mean, honestly, the I like, it is it's sick to say, "We're just gonna wait 6 weeks, and then this continues."
Yeah.
Like, how does that make sense to anybody? How do you say that? How do you actually, like,
Well,
feel
I
like
think
that's
it
an okay thing?
so a little analysis, I think it falls in line with what Biden desires. Because he said the same thing, 6 weeks, delay of hostilities. And it also to understand, aides around her, I think uh her initial speech was going to be harsher towards Israel and more excoriating of their, humanitarian aggression. And at the last minute, either Biden or somebody else probably pulled her back and was like, "Hey, listen, maybe that's a little too much." But I think like looking at the statement itself is very much as they don't want to admit it, as much as Biden's aides, as much as Biden's confidants, Zients and all of them don't want to admit it. I think this is like that moment that maybe we get to look back on in a couple of years as the moment they started to pivot Kamala's, ascension to an eventual throne. Thinking about 2028, thinking about how they can start to position her as someone that is taking up the opposite, not like
A
alongside
shift.
Biden, but
Yeah.
not taking
A
up
shift. Yeah.
his war,
Yeah.
not taking up his positions with
I mean,
Israel and just saying like this is,
yeah. And that's where, like, I see it 2 ways. I see
yeah,
that possibility of, like, like, this political calculus of,
sure.
hey, and I honestly too, it's like, even the fact that it's coming out that, "Oh, aides are saying it was a little bit harsher," that's a political
Yeah.
gesture unto itself,
Absolutely, it absolutely is. There's a
Um,
reason that they leaked that, yeah.
yeah. So, but, I think that there's also the possibility that, you know, she Kamala's not a great speaker, and
I think that's also true,
like,
alright?
whatever, yeah,
I
the
didn't just fall
lines.
out of a coconut tree. I've been paying attention. She's not that great of a speaker, yeah.
Yeah, that's something that, like, I don't know, that I kind of, like, just even consider too, because and that's where the thing is too, is that, like, it's not new. The temporary ceasefire is something that they've shifted on the, like, "Oh, well, we need a pause in hostilities," or whatever,
Yeah.
and so
It
they
was
start
supposed to
saying
happen
temporary
yesterday
ceasefire, yeah.
as of Biden last week. I don't know.
Um, but and that's, like, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't even, like, I really don't even care at this point, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter at this point, like, it's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
it's
disagree
gotta
with you. Even
stop,
6 weeks right
like,
now gives some people a little
yeah.
pause to.
But yeah, but the thing is, yeah, and I guess too, where, like, like, with the Kamala shift, right? Or
Mhm.
even the have Kamala speak to these things, you know, the Democratic Party is just setting themselves up for failure,
I don't
because
disagree. I think
we
she's a extremely flawed, like, future
well, and that's where
choice.
it's at this point too, it's like, it doesn't matter what the message is, there's action needed,
Yeah.
there's, like, it doesn't
Or,
matter what the message
again,
is.
conventional coup for
Oh, I
Kamala.
mean, hey, hey, Chicago's
Again, I
historically not a
I
great place for Democrats.
I listen, that's true. Listen, I just like, yeah, Biden slips and falls. Man, I don't know what like insider like sits there and just continues to listen to Biden come like July. If he's still down, against Trump and all these swing states, I don't know who doesn't start recommending, like, hey, listen, we've been priming the pump with Kamala for a couple months now. You
I mean,
know,
that's where
you
I
could
don't
have a graceful step down.
if
Now I know
there's
he's
one
not gonna
thing.
allow himself to do that, but
Yeah, yeah, no, and that's where, like, I am only confident in their stubborn arrogance,
yes, absolutely. Like, Biden
and
is going to see this through to the end.
yeah, which ah, and that, yeah, the October surprise, we'll see what that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, he says it himself in that New Yorker interview, right? Like, or he doesn't say it, but I think the interviewer kind of, like, intimates. This is personal for him because Donald Trump tried to take away his presidency. He'd been trying for
oh my
decades to
god,
win the
yeah,
contest, and when he finally does, Donald Trump tries to take that away from him,
and
you
so he's
know? So he's gotta be the one
pathetic.
to beat him again,
Yeah,
and it's like,
pathetic.
man,
You're a child.
yeah, 81 years old, and that's more than likely his fucking, view of it all. It's just
Yeah,
God, dude. Again, it's very reminiscent of RBG and all these other, politicians that just they feel they've got this otherworldly confidence about the future and their hand in it, and nothing could like pop in their way. Nothing could stop them. It's like, man,
and then,
be
like,
it
yeah,
Hillary with the election or RBG with living.
because the thing is too, where it's like, you n Joe Biden
Hmm.
really, and that's where too, it's like, Joe Biden really only would have made his name if he stepped down.
Yeah,
He really only would have been special if he said, "Hey, I said I am gonna be the transition president. That's what I'm doing. Sorry, shit kinda sucks, but here we are." And, like,
yeah,
you do that and not support the genocide, he does look pretty good.
Yeah,
He would
and
like that.
even I think you
Like,
look even better if you say, "And we're passing the torch to a new generation of
I mean,
Democrats.
yeah.
They're gonna lead the party into the future."
I mean, yeah, because like libs would look back on the past 4 years and just get bricked up about it.
Yeah,
Because he's, like, getting
yeah.
out of COVID, you got the Build Back Better that turned into the
They're doing
Inflation
that
Reduction Act.
already.
I mean, like, yeah, they're doing it already, but that's the thing where it's like, if you had actually last allowed for the pass along, and
Yeah,
because and that's where the thing is too, where it's like, it doesn't make sense how anyone could be losing to Trump right now. It really doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
And definitely not by the margins that we continue to see. I mean, I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow, but so Kirsten Sinema drops, right? We already have internal polling of what that looks like. And Ruben Gallegos still has like I think a +4 or +5 in polling right now.
Yeah.
Why is Biden 10 points behind him? That's That's unreal. These are the same polls. So you can't
Yeah.
tell me, well, you just can't trust the polls. They overestimate Republicans. These are the same polls,
Exactly
man.
the same
Why
people.
is that happening?
Yeah.
You have to look, you have to take a deep reflection inside and look at what you're doing to your party, not anybody else,
Yeah.
like not anybody else that's on the ticket. Top of the ticket. What are you going to do to
'Cause
this election?
and the thing that, like, they don't get is, like, it's not this one for one like, they keep like, you think that, like, a lot of the pundit class think that it's just like this one for one thing.
Yeah.
"Oh, well, there's 100,000 Muslims in Michigan, and but Biden won by 130,000 last time."
Yeah.
Oh, well, and,
Those
like, that's
weren't.
like, well, they got 100,000 for the uncommitted.
Yeah.
Well, no, we won by 130,000 last time, so
Yeah.
we cleared.
And
And
to
it's
to
like,
look
why
that in and of itself is wrong because looking at that 100,000, this was not the Muslim population.
No,
This
exactly,
was places
exactly.
like Ann
That's
Arbor.
yes,
This was
yes.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and that's but, like, that's the thing, though, is that the mindset is, "We've got the numbers cleared,"
right.
and not the most engaged voters took the time out of their day to say, "We are hella wrong on this one policy point," right?
Yes.
Not getting it whatsoever. And that's the thing is too, where it's, like, completely disenfranchising, uh, like, the stuff what he's doing on the border as well.
Well, and you look at
Like,
this
you're
and
disenfranchising
his
the activists, right? The
yeah,
volunteers.
I think his campaign understand like this is Biden dedicated to doing this come hell or high water. Like you've heard discussion from in his camp, they're minimizing speaking engagements. They are not releasing the locations of engagements until right before, and they're doing all of this because of the protesters showing up at the beginning of the year to his engagements. And it's like, man, LBJ wasn't this determined, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. And, like, the thing is too, is it's like, there's no way around it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's no way around it, because eventually you're gonna have to show up somewhere you're supposed to be, you know? And there's gonna be people there saying, "Stop the genocide."
yeah,
Like, there's just no way around it. And because like, they just reports saying, like, they completely canceled a college tour.
yeah,
It's like, it I you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were Donald Trump and like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna go colleges, but, not really worth it,"
yeah,
it doesn't matter. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? No biggie. It'd be kind of hilarious to see him try to do that, actually. But for the Democrats, who like what are you doing? Like, get it. Like, just get it, please. If
Yeah,
not for the people in Gaza, if not for the Palestinians, for your own political future, you gotta get it.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I don't know, man. Again, it's gonna be a brave new world, and by the end of the year, I guess we're gonna kind of see what the next couple of years are gonna look like. And
Yeah, yeah, and I mean,
questions.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And, like, the whole voting thing, and like it's such a it's such a hot topic, in like the
Yeah.
lefty media. Oh, do you vote for Joe Biden? Third try,
Uh,
blah 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 blah. And that's where it's like it's not to say it's like these things don't have real ramifications, everything like that. But
sure.
it's just that we got to break our we the left in the United States need to break our break our brains out of just the cycle.
Yeah.
um
I mean,
oh
I think it's been
gosh.
refreshing. Like, I compared this to like 4 years ago, back in 2020, and it's honestly refreshing to think like how little I do like engage with like I said, I didn't know it was Super Tuesday until like halfway through this morning. And it's just
Yeah.
like because I was busy, talking about what's happening like on the ground to Palestinians, what with like actual things that have like real world consequences, like because I've been busy, like engaging in my community, because I've been, committing to mutual aid projects. Like I have things that just feel so much more fulfilling, and it's like I think more people need to work towards that, and
Yeah.
understand what matters. Because this, I mean, this is a discussion that liberals are going to kindly and gladly have for the next 9 months with you. So why not break that and work towards like making things better amongst the people, people around you
Yeah.
that need that,
And that's
you know?
and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, with and that's like the tough thing is like, you know, scaling that up, and not to sound like, Pete Buttigieg, or something like that with like we gotta have synergy and scalability. But like no, that's where, the power is gonna come is a
Yeah,
community focused community and being able to have a political focus with that community focused community. And I'm saying the same word over and over again. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Uh,
Forming some
'Cause
sort of power structure of a dual nature in order
yeah,
to disrupt the status quo. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because and that's where the thing is too. It's like yeah, like the harm reduction votes. That's real. That's a real fucking thing.
yeah,
But doing harm reduction votes won't stop us from having to do harm reduction votes.
yeah,
And yeah, that's
yeah,
that's that's the important thing,
yeah, yeah.
and voting though. Hey, okay, you
Just
gotta
vote,
vote.
I did it today. I got the sticker and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same, although I got rid of the sticker.
yeah.
Um,
Well, you know?
but go Marianne, I guess.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm an Orb Mommy, supporter now.
Which speaking of, like, political instincts, and this
Yeah.
is be the I
Cra
guess, the
again,
good
I
thing
I
to
said it
end
last
on,
week, I think
yeah.
it's funny as hell she got back in, man.
Dean Phillips, okay?
Yeah.
Speaking of not being like,
Man.
not being able to, like, read the political winds, like, Dean
Yeah.
Phillips, what are you doing?
Yeah, just, I don't like, I've never talked to anybody that understands who Dean Phillips is,
No
what
one
he's
knows who you
doing.
are.
Yeah. You've done a very piss poor job if you're trying to, be the alternative to Biden.
Yeah, yeah, but,
Ah, what do you got? What's your hope? Your silver lining, your final thought for the coming week?
final thought for
Yeah.
ManCon 6.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah, nothing. I don't really
Nothing?
have
Come
a
on.
like.
You
I
got
mean, it's
something
just
to
gonna
something
like
to smile about, something to look forward
something
to?
good. Well, no, I wanted to go see Dune,
I do
but then
too. Listen,
but then
if any that's the
I
silver
heard
lining.
Chalamet was a dang. He's
Yeah.
he's pro genocide guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So I was
all
like,
fine, but he is playing Paul Atreides, the Muad'Dib,
yeah.
liberator of the people. So, that's something at least, I guess.
I mean, that's where I
Yeah.
guess, like, I mean, like, how,
Everybody loves the rizzed up white boy that's
you know what?
slightly Arabesque,
Actually, I'm
Think back to
excited.
Lawrence of Arabia.
All right, because I'm about to here it is, okay? I am now
Okay,
I'm
all right.
very excited, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I'm gonna not only announce that I'm gonna do crime, I'm gonna do crime, all right?
yeah.
And I'm gonna download the movie, all right, for free,
Oh, okay, all right. I've
okay?
got now have Marcus, I know I haven't talked to you about this at all, but I've
Oh,
got my bucket.
your flesh
So,
bucket, yes, the
yeah,
popcorn bucket.
my Dune 2 popcorn bucket,
Yes,
So,
yeah, for home use.
yeah, I've
Nice.
watched the original Dune with it twice now.
Mm. So the
Yeah.
bucket's almost full.
Yeah. Works great with Bluetooth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nice, nice, nice.
But no, I'd like to. I don't know. I want to go see it like this weekend or something. I just need to stop getting distracted with everything else.
With real life, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, not with real life, with video games.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life,
yeah. Well, good.
real life.
That's something at least. Dune
Yeah,
Dune
what
Two
about
is
you?
something to look forward to.
Dude, too, yeah. What about
Yeah.
you? You got
That's
something.
same, honestly. I just Dune and maybe finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth so that I can see my friends and my family again.
Yeah, well, you gotta finish the game before you can talk to your
Yeah,
mom.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It has a
that makes
hold on
sense.
me. It's a chokehold. So
Yeah. Well, I do wanna rewind actually because I did
yeah,
go to, a protest.
yeah. Oh, did you go to the one on Saturday?
I did go to the one
Yeah, 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 yeah,
on
yeah.
Saturday,
Nice.
so and, like, and those are where yes, that's where I get the silver lining, that's where I get the hope that it's like, "Oh, hey,
Yeah,
there's people out there that are focused on what's important." So,
yeah,
stay looking out for that. Um, I'm looking out for something too on the State of the Union, so
yeah.
maybe there might
Ooh,
be something going on for the State of the Union,
can't
so
wait for that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exciting. Well, we'll be back next week, and I'm sure we'll talk about everything that happens tonight during Super Tuesday.
Uncommitted, let's go.
Let's do it. I can't wait to see what happens. Like, subscribe, listen to all the YouTube podcast formats everywhere you can find it.
Ring the bell,
Uh,
tell your friends.
yeah, tell your friends about ManCon. We can only grow into a stronger and more powerful ManCon.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be back next week. Thank y'all.
Peace.